We are here today with Jonathan and Linda from Talkspace, commercial property experts, along with John and Alice from Pilotfish, commercial finance experts. And we're going to start off with John, and I'm going to ask you, John, what you think the main reasons clients choose to purchase their own property rather than rent a commercial property?
Certainly. I think it's threefold. One is retaining wealth. So if you own your own building, then the money that you would normally be paying into a commercial mortgage obviously is there to improve your asset rather than paying rent to a landlord. Mm-hmm. So that's the first point. The second point, I think, is control, because often you want to make improvements to your own building, and often you then need to go and speak to the landlord about asking for his consent. If it's your building, you can principally do what you want, subject to planning and other bits and pieces. So, and by making improvements to your own building, what you're doing there is enhancing your wealth rather than that of the landlord's. Mm-hmm. And then I think the third one is just perceived greater level of security. So again, if it's your building and you're paying for it, then you're not at the whims of the landlord or lease expiries. So it gives the business a greater confidence to flourish within that building. Okay. So those are the 3 points.
Yeah, thank you. Right, so Alice, why would you say, what are the obstacles that clients face when looking to take out a commercial mortgage?
So I think the first one that they come across is usually finding the money for the deposit, especially if it's a growing company. They're putting a lot of money into growing the company. They may not necessarily have the cash reserves available to hold those up into the deposit. Another pitfall that we tend to come across with our clients is if they haven't got the trading history there, so if they're a relatively new company and they can't prove the serviceability of the debt to the lenders, that does tend to be kind of a stumbling block sometimes. And the third one is if the company isn't profitable. So you come across quite a lot of companies that aren't necessarily profitable, especially relatively close to their inception. And without profits, it is relatively difficult to provide the lender with comfort that you will be able to service the debt on the commercial mortgage.
Okay, so John, how therefore do you get over that obstacle? How can you help a client find finance for a mortgage?
So one thing that's important to state is that typically mortgages from the high street lenders cap out about 70 to 75%, so 25% is the deposit requirement, which, as Alice mentioned, could be quite a sizable step for a small business to kind of outlay. So there are other securities within the business that can help them generate additional working capital funds to cover that aspect of it off, so invoice finance, asset finance, or alternatively an unsecured business loan. So a lot of high street lenders now will support effectively clients looking to do an owner-occupied mortgage with providing a secondary source of funding, so that could be unsecured. But the key thing is just making sure that the serviceability is there in terms of the level of profits can service both the primary mortgage and then the secondary unsecured aspect of the loan as well.
Okay, brilliant, thank you, John. So Linda, you help clients source their commercial property.
Yes.
What would you say are the benefits of using someone like yourselves to find the right property, negotiate the right deal?
Yes, using property experts, great question, thank you, Catherine. I think there are 4 main points here. Using property experts is great if you would like to source the specific property, and obviously they can negotiate the best terms for you and your business. Very, very important, can save you an awful lot of money. I think another key point is that they will save you a lot of time and hassle, because finding the right commercial property and negotiating on it, you need so much patience and plenty of time to do that, so they can certainly save you that time. And knowing the pitfalls, they know the pitfalls, they do these deals day in, day out, and so property experts, definitely employ them and you'll get the best deal.
Okay. So who do you come to first? Commercial finance experts or property?
Definitely.
Finance. Definitely.
Definitely.
Okay, all right, thank you very much.